Hello, I'm Callum Dilietto, and this is season 3 of the Flock Together podcast in partnership with Visit Norway. And we're here today at Shangri-La at the Shard, London, and I'm joined by Beth. How are you?
I'm okay, how are you?
Very good, very good. I feel like I've known you so long, I don't even remember where we met or how we met.
No, I don't remember.
Yeah,
We've both been in the industry too long and we just know each other.
Yeah, we've just known each other. We just know each other forever.
Yeah, just pals.
But that's what's great is that I just feel like I get to see you at so many different events, and we always catch up, and it's a pleasure to finally get you on the podcast and make you a formal member of the Flock Together community.
I know, a year in the making.
Yeah.
This time last year we discussed it, and a year later it happened.
Here we are. So the first question is, or the first section as it were, is all about remembering. So what was your first ever work trip?
Yeah, I had to really think back to this because I was like, I do not remember where we went or what we did. But actually, I was quite lucky. So when I first come into agency, within 2 weeks, I was flown off to Lisbon and we did an event at the Epic Sauna, which is beautiful, a 5-star luxury hotel. I didn't see much of Lisbon, which, follows through to never seeing the country you're in. But the hotel was worth just being there, which was really nice. So yeah, it was a really cool trip actually it was like a congress but we were there for a week. And I got a complimentary massage at the end, so it was a great first trip, if I'm honest.
Amazing. A complimentary massage is always the best way. I think every trip should end with that.
So do I, and I think we just need to fit it in somehow. Be like, right, we all need to fly back an hour later, massage before you go home, dream.
Pre-plane, that's great.
I know.
I mean, post-plane as well, to be honest.
I don't know if I want to hang around at Heathrow, though.
No.
I just want to get home.
It's not quite the same as a 5-star Lisbon experience.
Exactly.
And what was your last trip?
Again, this is going to make me sound like such a little jet setter, which I'm not usually, but we went to the Fairmont in Quebec in Canada. Yeah, I know.
The chateau?
The chateau, yes.
Oh, it's amazing.
So my client, there's an American side and a European side, so they often do the events separately. And the Americans just got so annoyed that they were going to these concrete blocks. And they were like, how, Europeans are going to Vienna, they're going to all these gorgeous chateau-looking places. So they found the one chateau on their side of the world. And I was like, fair play. It's known as the most Instagrammed hotel in the world.
Rightly so, because when I stayed there, I remember thinking that I was visiting the Beauty and the Beast castle.
Ah, that's a good way of thinking of it.
I came in, and because of the French, kind of influence in the town as well, I remember just being like, wow, and it's just so grand, and the turrets, and I was just like, this is a fairy tale and I love it.
And it felt like it's so weird in Quebec because I've not been to Canada at all, so I know that it's obviously very different in the Montreal French side, but it's it was like going into a film set. It was the weirdest experience because you sort of leave the airport, typical kind of American Canada situation, really long road, nothing on it. All of a sudden you get to this town and it's like, oh, this is literally like a weird little film set. This is so strange. And it's all walled off, and the people there as well was so great. So that was for a site visit, so I'm actually going back there in April, which will be amazing to execute the event. But it's very grand, very luxurious. If people want a kind of European feel, but on the other side, it's definitely worth it.
They also did a really fun video during lockdown when all the hotels were closed, and it was, I want to say they got some dancers in or something. These dancers were just dancing around the empty hotel.
Brilliant.
And it was just really well done. And I thought this is such a good little idea for using the space whilst no one can stay there. But love that. Great choice.
Yeah, big fan.
The next part is about revisit. And so it's an opportunity for you to relive a destination experience that you've had. Transporting your mind, going back in time to something or somewhere that you've been. What would it be for you?
I think the one that stuck in my head, and I really, again, struggled to find where I'd go, but I was lucky enough to go on a fam to Switzerland. Again, another bucket list kind of place that I never thought I'd normally go to. I've flown into Geneva a lot, but left very quickly to go to France. So we went to Switzerland and we stayed in I'm going to really mispronounce this, but the Bergenstock Alpine Spa and Hotel. I don't know if you've ever been. I don't think I'll ever get to go anywhere as swanky as this again. But you turn up and you go on a funicular to go up the side of the mountain. You literally feel like you're in the Sound of Music. There's just you can hear the cows at the bottom of the mountain, just with their bells going along. And the hotel, the spa is like nothing I've ever seen before. And just the staff and the greeting. And it was one of those situations in an incentive mind of this is once in a lifetime. you know, some people are lucky enough that obviously they can holiday there, but it is, to take a group there would just be out of this world. And I loved every second of it. And we were really lucky to stay there for 2 nights. And it was, yeah, absolutely the best place I've ever been.
Switzerland is just such a beautiful destination.
Yeah.
And I've been around to lots of different parts, and it's just so consistently beautiful. Like every single inch of that country is art.
Yeah.
It's
and just the
incredible.
views every day. So like we woke up, and obviously because you're on the mountain, so this hotel has got kind of 3 hotels. We stayed in a sort of the centralised one and where the spa was, but it's kind of across the top of this mountain. There's a golf course, like it's huge. But the views every day are so different, because we woke up one morning and it was in the clouds, and then you wake up the next morning, it's clear. And obviously going at different times of year, we went in spring, but if you went in winter, it would be snowy. And again, you can go back to these places and experience something completely different in exactly the same place, which I love about Switzerland. Like you said, it can do it all, which I think is so rare of many countries. Like, yes, they have winter and summer, but it would be rainy, or it would be, you know, not the best, whereas they have the real seasons. So when we were there in spring, yeah, I very much was living my Sound of Music best life, like singing through the Alps.
Love
Less
it.
Nazis though, but yeah.
And if you could make any hotel a home, what would it be?
For this one, I've kind of cheated, because it was recently that I got to go to Dalesford Cottages. So it technically is a home in a sense. And it's in the middle of the Cotswolds in like this gorgeous little village right next to the Dalesford farm. But they own sort of a pub and a couple of other cottages around this whole road. And it was just as soon as I walked in, it's cosy, there's a fire, like it's my dream, like the country kitchen, you know, proper little cottage vibe. So it's kind of cheating because it's not technically a hotel.
Well, you've also got the pub. So you like almost
3 pubs.
Well, so you're owning the pub and
I
like so
know.
it's all yours, and then
Yeah.
therefore
And it's in the Cotswolds, and you know that's the dream. So living in the countryside, walks on my doorstep, perfect.
Gonna make my move. I'm all in, got nothing to lose. Oh my, gonna shake it off. It ain't no thing, it ain't no thing. Oh my, doing what I want. Gonna do my thing, do my thing. Put it up high and take it low. I'm feeling right from head to toe. Light it up and let it roll. Here I go. Ready to go, are you ready? Ready for more, are you ready? Ready for me? Oh my, are you ready? Ready and now to keep going, and I can't stop, are you ready? Ready for me? Oh my, are you ready?
So let's take this one step further and now reimagine and plan an incentive for yourself, once in a lifetime experience. Where would you go? What would you do? And which celebrity would you take with you?
So this is the question I struggled with the most, and I have no idea why. 1, because I knew I couldn't pick the same thing that everyone else would. But 2, there's so many places that I'm like, oh, I want to go there, I want to go there. And I've done a lot of incentives in my job, but obviously you don't get to experience them from the other side. So I was like, what do I want to do? And one place that I went when I was traveling when I was younger was New Zealand, and I loved it. And it's one of those places that I'm like, if it was closer, I'd be there all the time. But unfortunately, being in England, it's very far away. But it's small. It is only, you can go around both the North and South Island. You know, I can't remember the exact sort of rule of it, but it's not much bigger than England. So it's crazy, really. And we did the whole South Island and part of the North. So yeah, I definitely want to go back there to see more of it for one. But it's kind of got that Switzerland vibe of being able to do it all. It has got the seasons. You know, you could, in terms of activities, we went and did Milford Sound, which is like a ford, and it's just breathtakingly beautiful. But you can do winter sports there, you can do summer sports there, you can walk mountains. You know, it's everything you could want, really, in terms of outdoors. But the culture there is amazing as well, and they've got the whole Maori background, and they've got a story to tell, and the food and everything about it. I just think it's such a unique country in its own right, and the people are amazing and so welcoming and lovely. So I think that's definitely where I'd go. And in terms of who I'd take with me, again, I wasn't sure, but I've kind of settled on just one of my favourite authors, who's and also she does presenting and stuff, called Dolly Alderton. One, I just think she's hilarious.
I'm currently reading her book.
Oh, she's great. I love her books.
Honestly,
which one?
Good material.
Yeah, really good.
It's so good. I'm only a couple chapters in. That's so weird that you've said that, because literally this is the second time her book or her has been thrown in my face. But yeah, no,
she's so, like, as a person, she's really funny as well. I've kind of followed her like journey. She used to work on like Made in Chelsea as a producer and things like that. So and one of her books, Everything I Know About Love, which is kind of a memoir-y type book, was made into a programme as well. So she's pretty cool, and I just think she'd be hilarious to hang out with, for one, because she seems funny. And yeah, I also just think we could talk about books for days and I'd have a great time.
Well, also, she'd probably write a story about your trip.
Well, exactly.
You know, two girls going to New Zealand,
We'd have
and
a great
then
time.
next minute, the next Dolly book is
about
featuring you.
Yeah, exactly.
In fact, actually, I think that's how I want to answer it in future. Is I'm going to be like, I want an author to come and just document it all.
Yeah,
for
document
me.
my whole trip. Yeah, and she's very funny. So I think I listened to her podcast for years and it stopped, and so I feel like I need that gap filled so she can come with me.
That's it. Like, my choice of books is always that I want it to be a bit funny, and I sort of stumbled across her. I like David Nichols.
I love that you're reading it.
I honestly, it's so crazy that I'm reading that. At the
Especially,
same time.
like, this is so controversial, but not many people would pick like a female author like that, because her stories are quite like aimed at females.
Well,
usually.
This is it. So there's a very niche genre of, like, I like rom-coms, but from a male perspective.
Yeah. And that's what she did.
That's exactly
yeah.
what that is. Whereas
she wrote one from a male perspective.
They're not that common, because there's not really an appetite for them. It's just me and a handful of other guys that like to read that. So because obviously when you read a book, you want to imagine you're the main character or relate to it.
Which I really hope you're not like him, because he is a pain.
I'm only a couple of chapters in, so
okay,
but no,
fine.
no.
He's so woe is me, but that's how he's meant to be written. But I hope that's not you, Callum.
No, it's not.
I have higher expectations of you.
But woe is me.
Actually, no, I can see it.
The final part of the podcast is an opportunity to write a letter to the industry and say what it is that you want to say to the wider mice world, and kind of get on your pedestal.
So I've written mine because I will not be able to say it in the way I want to if I don't. And I don't want to bring the tone down, but I just want to get this point across because I think it's really important. I think it's kind of based around women, I suppose, but I don't think it is just aimed at women. It's everybody in this industry, and I think we can all take a moment to sort of take a step back to be able to, think outside the box sometimes and make it a bit more personal. Like, I think basically what I'm trying to say is we're seen as these people that have it all together all the time, right? And we have to be front facing and we have to be like, yeah, I've got this, everything's cool. But actually sometimes in our personal lives, you can't be that person. And I had to learn kind of the hard way that those things can intertwine. So yeah, I'll read it and then you can go from there. But it's kind of about giving 80 to 100%.
Okay, well, yeah, go ahead. Read away.
So the events industry often prizes itself on delivery over and above. I think everyone would say they strive to give 110%, but this mindset can lead to unsustainable expectations we put upon ourselves. I've learnt this the hard way. Last January, my life was turned upside down when I was diagnosed with cervical cancer. And I'm grateful to being doing okay for now. The experience has irrevocably changed me in ways I'm still navigating, especially my energy levels, social battery, and exhaustion. One of the most profound changes has been the sudden onset of menopause, which at 32 has me grappling with unexpected physical and emotional challenges. Our industry is known for its high energy and fast-paced nature, which I usually thrive upon. However, the added pressures of brain fog, emotional fluctuations, and physical changes have made it hard for me to keep up with the expectations I once held myself to. I've noticed that I've become more uncertain, struggling with a lack of self-confidence, and finding it hard to believe balance the intensity of my career with the unpredictability of my health. It's an isolating feeling to work in an industry that often prioritises perfection, having it all together and outward success, while dealing with a condition that makes everything, even the simplest tasks, seem daunting. The uncertainty of cancer and menopause, combined with the stress and the shift in how I see myself, has created an emotional weight that I'm learning to carry every day. In an industry that thrives on creating memorable experiences for others, it's vital that we also cultivate spaces where people, especially women like myself, can be supported as we face our own personal challenges. I'm sharing this not to only express my own struggles, but to raise awareness of the hidden challenges many women will have to face whilst working. I feel it's really important to have this discussion when the events industry is seen as predominantly female. Women are incredibly strong, and throughout our lives we change and evolve in countless ways. However, sometimes life presents us with obstacles that change us forever, and it takes time to find the new version of ourselves. While the journey to rediscover who we are can feel disorienting and difficult, it is important to remember that it does not make us any less than we were before. We're simply evolving, stronger, wiser, and more resilient with each experience we face. While I'm still finding my way through this new normal, I remain passionate about my work, but realise that I now can't always give 110%, and I need to reserve some of that energy. I believe there's an opportunity to promote more understanding, flexibility, and empathy in our work lives. We can still give it our everything, but sometimes that'll be 80 to 100%, and that's okay. I really hope me speaking out about this might spark conversations in the workplace around not only women's health, but mental health, as I believe this is a crucial conversation to have, and we can all take a minute to be a bit kinder to ourselves.
Can I just say, firstly, thank you for being so open.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's a really important message, and it can only be delivered by someone like yourself who's gone through this.
Yeah.
I'm so pleased that you're now in a good position.
Yeah, me too.
But obviously the legacy of that and this whole new way of living and working, I think, is something that people only kind of wake up to once they're in your position. And actually, it's what I like is that you're shaking the industry and say, no, wake up now before you, touch wood. You don't have to go through the similar things, but wake up before that, because it's...
And I just think it's the fact of, that's why I was really struggling of I didn't want to make it all about women, especially sitting here talking to you, but it's everything, right? Like a personal thing could happen and then it just shakes you. Like I was literally on a work call talking about a new hotel that was opening, and I got a phone call and was like, this is a weird phone call. And then it just unraveled from there, and I had to change everything in my life instantly, and your priorities shift and life shifts and things just change. And I just think I had amazing support, and I'm so lucky that I've got great friends in the industry and I've got, great peers, but I've had to relook at who I am in work, and that's a really hard mirror to hold up to yourself, because I just think this industry we all have such high expectations of ourselves, which is fine, but then when you can't give 110% every day, you're like, oh, I'm not doing enough. And actually what I'm learning now is 100% is, if that's all you can give on that day, that's fine. And it doesn't make you any less. It doesn't make you not as good. It just makes you a human. And that's all we are. So I just think, as an industry, we could definitely be kinder to ourselves. And I think talking about it, it's hard, as you can see. I literally feel like a weight's been lifted off me now I've said it. But I knew I wanted to say it, and we discussed this last year when I was just diagnosed, so I'm glad I'm in a position where I can say it. But more importantly, I just think mental health, women's health, every woman's going to go through the menopause. I knew nothing about it until I was in it, and it's not enjoyable. So I just think it's really important as an industry that we're talking about these things that change people and how it changes them.
I think what seems to be really positive is that I've certainly noticed more conversations around menopause in the last maybe year or two.
Davina McCall's an absolute babe.
Yeah, and the stigma behind it has the kind of you don't speak about that stigma has kind of, I think, been relinquished, and people are being more open and talking about these things. And I think that's the important thing, is that it's just having these conversations, conversations.
Yeah.
And just so that people can say, you're right. And it's crazy that we're saying 100% is okay, because in most other places you'd be like, wait, that's
way more than enough.
Yeah,
But I think our jobs are kind of our lives, aren't they? In a way that we go away for weeks at a time, or we'll spend sort of 24 hours a day with people, and so you're like, right, I must be this fun, bubbly, and people always say I come across that way. And then in the last year, I've had to kind of step back a bit just so I can look after myself. And I'm still here. I'm still the same energetic, charismatic, passionate person. If anything, I'm just more passionate now, because I know how important it is and how much being able to do my job means to me. So,
honestly, thank you. And I've loved the conversations that we've had about this, but I'm just glad that we can now have it and let other people hear those conversations, because I think it is important. The next section is a quickfire round, and it seems odd to transition into a playful quickfire round after that, but do you know what? I think.
Yeah, I don't want to end on a low.
No, and also I think some of the answers to this is interesting as well. So they're very simple, A and B.
Okay.
The first is packing, last minute or week before.
Last minute.
Interesting.
I know, and no one would ever expect that, but it's so true.
Yeah, because you're very you're on it with everything,
But this is what I mean, Callum. People think I'm someone that I'm not.
This is it. It comes back to that 80-20 stuff,
Yeah,
right? You're like, in my
100%.
personal life, I am last minute.
Literally, everything for my own life, no.
Carry on or check in?
I'll carry on if I can.
Same. Airport lounge or shopping?
Lounge.
Aisle or window?
Window.
City or nature?
Nature.
Do you know what I like about you is you know your answer to all of these. You're like, yes, yes, yes. Whereas so many people are like, oh, you're like, no.
You said quickfire, I'm doing
No,
what I'm
I love
told.
it. But you're on it.
Do you want me to expand?
No, this is perfect. Lay-in or early start?
Lay-in.
Poolside or seaside?
Seaside.
Planned or spontaneous? Oh. This is the one that catches people.
I was about to say it depends what it is. If I'm going away, obviously it's planned.
If it was your own holiday?
Probably more spontaneous. I don't like to have a rigid itinerary on holiday because obviously that is my life.
Yeah.
I like to just be like, right, let's get up whenever and go grab a drink and wander here and
And just play it by
definitely
ear.
spontaneous if it's a holiday for me.
Okay. Breakfast, hot or cold?
Ooh, hot.
Hotel, room service or restaurant?
Restaurant. Room service is so overrated. I'm sorry to say that in the gorgeous hotel because I'm sure it's beautiful here, but I think everyone has this like idea of like Home Alone and getting all this stuff and this silver platter coming off, and then actually you get it and you're like, oh, okay. I'm just eating alone in my pajamas. This is a bit weird.
I think, I was going to say, if you're sharing the room, and
yeah,
then you
maybe
have
that's
room
different.
service,
I've actually only had room service kind of at work when I'm by myself, so I don't feel like that's like this glorious expectation. I'm normally sat with a laptop, a phone, and a cold meal in front of me.
I also feel like I feel very conscious of them, like, in these really fancy hotels where they're like, this person is rolling out your table and they're decorating for you, and it's like, it's just for me, and I'm like, you don't have to do that. It's fine. Just
leave the pasta and run.
I'll have it in a bag and I'll just open it. Just put it on some paper. Like I'll just put it in my hand. I'm fine. And
actually, on that, we did do. So I was lucky enough on one of the trips where I said we would go for like a week. They tend to give one of us like a bigger room so we can have it as like an office. So kind of like with a table, how there is here. Not quite like this. But we did room service in that one night. And it was the four of us that were doing the event. And I was like, actually, this is quite nice. We all like went back, had a shower, like put our PJs on, ran to the room so no delegates could see us, and then sort of all sat. And that was nice because then you haven't got to wear clothes and blah, blah, blah. I've just been on holiday and we were in a chalet, and like that Airbnb or like a lounge vibe is definitely more for me. I don't want to get dressed up. I can't be bothered. Yeah,
like sometimes if you're away for a while, you want to just be able to just all
relax.
gather in one place in your pajamas.
Yeah, I'm so the opposite of a girly girl of like getting ready and like doing my hair and blah blah. I really can't be bothered. If I could click my fingers and be ready, I'd be happy.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank
you so much for being part of the Flock community. Thank you for coming to the podcast, and also thank you for being so brave and sharing your story and for a good purpose and to kind of shake up the rest of the industry.
Thanks for giving me the platform.